Welcome. This is about percent. So let's look at this number routine. What percentage of this wall was painted? So if you look closely at this wall, let's make some generalization. Is it more than half of the wall or less than half of the wall? Let's look at it. Well, the halfway point, let me get my pen, would be right here. So I say it's more than half. So I think our answer would be more than 50% if I had to make a prediction as to it. I'm just curious what's on here. Let me pull it out. Oh, we have some answer choices right here. Oh, nice. So which one? So we know it can't be B or D. So it's either A or C. So we have to figure out which one makes more sense. Well, let's count out how many tiles were shaded or painted. 5, 10, 15, 20, 24. Out of 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. So how can I build this to a percent? Again, a percent means per 100. So how do I build this to 100? Can 40 be built into 100? It's not really that compatible, is it? Maybe I can break this down and simplify this by dividing by 2, get 20, and I divide this by 2 and get 12. Now, can I build this 20 to 100? Times 5 times 5, and that's where I get 60 hundredths, or 60% of this is shaded. Another way you could have simplified 2440 to 3/5. 3/5 is equivalent to 60%. Another way you could do is you could divide by 4, and you actually would get 6/10. And 6/10 is the same thing as 60%. So the Houston Texans home game record in 2015 was 5 wins, 3 losses. The good old days. What percent of their home games did they win? They won 5 games out of how many did they play? 8. Can you find the percent of this? There are two ways to solve this. One way to do this is how do you build 8 to 100%? How many 8s go in 100? Well, let's figure it out. 8, 16, 24, 32, 40. 8 goes in 10 one time. 10 I say is 2. How many 8s go in 20? 2 times. 20 minus 4, 16 is 4, and x is 0. How many 8s go in 40? 5 times. So it's times 12.5 times 12.5. 5 times 12.5. 25 carry to 2. 10 plus 2 is 12. Carry 1 is 62.5. And that's more than half, so 62.5%. That's one way you could have done it. A shortcut, let's show you another way to do it, is I'm going to simplify this. I'm going to divide both numbers by 2 and get 2.5 and 4. So how can I build this to 100? Times 25 times 25, and that's where you get 62.5. And that's another way you could do it. Let's show you this video. All right. So that is a show. It came from The Martian. So in this Martian, as you can tell, his oxygen tank has been compromised. He was carrying 80 pounds of oxygen. Due to the accident, his tank only held 10% oxygen. How many pounds of oxygen was Mark carrying? Then you saw he got critical mass where it dropped down to 5%. So what is 5% of 80 pounds? So we're going to find out how to figure out percent of number today. We're going to be first modeling it today, and then you'll be knowing how to do more mathematical in the subsequent lesson, the next couple lessons. So let's represent this entire bar represents 100%. If we divide this bar into 10 equal section, and let's do that at this time, 10 equal section. Do, 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 do. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. This represents 100%. What percent do you think will go in each section? So each section would be has the exact same number. I'm breaking it into 10 groups. So 100 divided by 10, oh, it'll be 10%. So each square or each section represents 10%. So if you have 80 pounds, oh, so if the entire bar represents 80 pounds, how many pounds of oxygen for every 10%? So this whole thing represents 100%. This whole thing also represents 80 pounds. How many pounds go in each section? I need to divide this 80 pounds into how many sections? 10 sections. So it'll be 8. So there'll be, let me use a different pen color. So there'll be 8, 8, 8, 8, 8, 8, 8, 8, 8, 8 pounds for every 10%. So let's make sure this is correct. If I add up all these percentage, it adds up to 100%. If I add up all these 8 pounds, it adds up to 80. So yeah, 80 pounds is 100%. 8 pounds is 10%. From this strip diagram, you can answer any question I throw at you. And let's answer some questions now. If the entire bar represents 10%, how many pounds of oxygen for every 10%? Every 10% is 8 pounds. What is 40% of 80 pounds? So 10% is 8 pounds, another 10%, 8 pounds, another 10%, 8 pounds, another 10%, 8 pounds. So 10, 10, 10, 10 is 40%. 8, 8, 8, 8. 8 times 4 is, or 8 plus 8 plus 8 plus 8 is 32 pounds. Astronaut Mark was carrying 80 pounds of oxygen. Due to the accident, his tank only held 5%. How many pounds was he carrying? So I'm going to shade it and show you what 5% looks like. So 5% looks like this. He only carried 5%. So how would you describe 5% compared to 10%? Isn't it half or divide by 2? So what would that be? That would be 4 pounds. So what is 65% of 80 pounds? 65%. Well, we know the answer has to be more than half. And what is half of 80 pounds? 40. So we know our answer has to be more than 40. So let's see. So let's go to 65%. Then I'm going to use a highlighter to show you 65%. This is 10%, 20%, 30%, 40%, 50%, 60%, and 65% is right here half. So 8, 8, 8, 8, 8, 8. And this is only half of 8, which is 4. So 8, 8, 8, 8, 8, 8. That's 6 groups of 8. Plus half is 4. So 6 times 8 is 72. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 72. Plus 4 is 76. Stop. 6 times 8 is 48. Plus 4 adds up to 52. How embarrassing. How embarrassing. So 48 plus 4 is 52. And now, what is 1%? This is probably one of the harder ones we're going to deal with today. What is 1% of 80 pounds? What if its oxygen had dropped to 1%? So 1% is right here. 1% would be this really tiny little sliver. How do you break down 100% to 1%? What is the relationship here from 100% to 1%? Divide by 100. So what is 80 divided by 100? 80 divided by 100. Let's see. 100 going to 80? Nope, 0 times. Annex to 0. Bring it down. How many 100 going to 800? 8 times, so it's 0.8. Every 1% is 0.8 pounds of oxygen. So let's taking what we know from the previous one, let's try to represent with money now. The entire bar represents 100%. We divide this bar into 10 equal sections, so this whole bar represents 100%. So let's label that. Let's divide this into 10 equal sections. So each section would be 10%. If this entire bar also represents $50, what dollar amount goes for every 10%? If I have $50 and I divide them into 10 sections, 50 divided by 10 is $5. I'm just going to write 5 at each one. So every 10% is $5. Another 10% is $5. Another 10%. That's why 100% is $50. So what is 10% of $50? $5. Paul tipped his waiter 20% on a restaurant bill of $50. How much did he tip? 10%, 10%. I'm going to highlight that so it can show you a little better. So 20%, that would be $10. But then what? Mona bought a shirt for $50. She saved 60%. So she saved more than half. So what dollar amount is this? 5 plus 5 plus 5 plus 5 plus 5 plus 5 plus 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5. That would be $30. So let's try another one. Now this one would be a little more difficult. This is one with decimal. If this entire strip represents $12.50, how much is each 10% worth? So this is 100% or $12.50. Let's divide this into 10 equal sections. So this is 10%, this is 10%, this is 10%, 10%, 10%, 10%, 10%, 10%, 10%, and 10%. So $12.50 divided into 10 sections. It goes in 1 time. Bring down to 5. 10 goes to 25 2 times. So now 0. 10 goes to 55 times. So each one will be $1.25. $1.20. So every 10% is $1.25. So what if there was a sale that says 40% off, or only pay 40% at this time? 10%. Let me use my highlighter for this one to show you it. 40% is all this. And what's $1.25, $1.25, $1.25, $1.25? That would be $1.25 plus $1.25 is $2.50. $1.25, $1.25, another $2.50. So it's $5 or $1.25 times 4. What is 30%? So it'll be these three. $1.25, $1.25, $1.25, $1 is $3. 25, 25, 25 is 75 cents. $3.75. And what is 20%? That would be these two. $1.25, $1.25 is $2.50. And let's do our last example. The cost of a meal is $24. You would like to leave a 15% tip. How much is each 10% worth? So this is 100%. This is $24. So let's break this into 10 equal sections. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So each one is worth 10%, 10%, 10%, 10%, 10%, 10%, 10%, 10%, 10%, 10%, 10%. We're going to need to break this $24 into 10 equal sections. What is 24 divided by 10 equal section? 10 goes to 24 2 times. Annex to 0 goes to 4 times. So each one will be $2.40. Every 10% is $2.40. So what is 5% of $24? Let's highlight that so you can see it a little better. 5% is like half of 10%. What's half of $2? A dollar. What's half of 40 cents? 20 cents. So it's $1.20. So how much tip should we leave behind? You would like to leave a 50% tip. So if I do the mathematics, I'll look at the highlighter right here. Excuse me. So that's, whoops, highlight way too much. So 50% is right there. So it's much better. So 10% is 240. 5% is $1.20. So two, I'm gonna use my pen. So 240 plus $1.20 is 360. So how much is the combined meal and tip? So the meal is $24. The tip is 360. We will have spent $27.60. And that is how to find percent of a number using strip diagram.